Just what is a discouraged worker? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, anyone discouraged by the labor market has given up looking for a job, given up in the past 4 weeks, no work is available. This reminds me of a search party scenario. Think of the millions of folks desperately clinging to life rafts right now, facing foreclosure, trying to keep their kids in school. Now imagine the outrage if after just 24 hours the government calls off the search relief efforts. And what's their excuse? Well, we haven't heard anything from the survivors. They must all be rescued and safely ashore by now.
Well, even the term, discouraged workers. Discouraged workers, you can't find a job, And by the way, what they're going to do next, Chris, is as they're going to try to keep calling this a recovery, they'll call it a jobless recovery. That's like being almost pregnant, not with a 72% consumer-driven society. So they're going to try anything to keep the people off balance and have them from taking precautionary actions. And again, people ask me, what do I do? What advice do we give? Well, we don't give advice. We're forecasters. But we believe that the dollar is going to continue its crash. We believe that gold prices are going to head towards 2,000. And we believe we're already in the early days of the greatest depression. And when people look back, that's what they're going to call it. And by the way, just for the record, in the Trends Journal, in 2004, we wrote that by 2007, America would enter the Great Recession. And that's what they're calling it now. Just as they were late in calling it back then, they are late in calling this depression a depression.
And, to corroborate your thoughts, take a look at some of the developments in the past week or so. Goldman Sachs say the dollar is not just going to go down, it's going to surpass its recent bear market lows and make fresh new lows. The long-term equity leaps on the gold ETF are showing 45,000 contracts at that $1,300 level. I don't know who has purchased those millions of dollars worth of contracts, but some smart money out there is betting that gold is going to make a big leap in the next 6 months or so, all the way to $1,300.
That sounds good to me. It's about right on target. Why should anyone think differently? Just because they're printing money and papering over the problem, covering it up, as we said, calling it a recovery, and it's a cover-up, there's nothing in the cards that's going to show growth and prosperity. So we're looking at conditions to continually worsen and advising people to take proactive measures. I'm a close combat practitioner, and what we do is we plan for the worst. You always could pull back from there, but you have to first prepare. If you're not prepared, you're going to be hit by surprise. And so at a worst-case scenario, we believe there's going to be the Great Depression is going to get much worse, absent, of course, a new technology in terms of an alternative energy, something revolutionary as the invention of of fire, the discovery of fire, the invention of the wheel. Absent a huge productive capacity, the greatest depression continues.
There's another component to this story that I think is getting very little press, and that's that millions of folks, they've given up finding reasonable careers, and they've fallen into this dreaded part-time job sinkhole. Number of workers who are now seeking full-time jobs but can only work part-time. 2 million people last month. It used to be common to hear waiters and bartenders exclaim that they had simply accepted part-time work to pay for school. It was a temporary position.
Unemployment's just going to continue to get worse. We're looking at unemployment rates to rival the Great Depression. And when you look at effective unemployment, it's already at 19%. When you add in those people, part-time workers, as you said, that want full-time, the discouraged workers, as the government calls them, and people that are no longer on the rolls, or those people looking for jobs that can't find any. So we're going to see an easy, we believe, another 8% unemployment on top of that.
You've got company there. John Williams at Shadow Stats agrees with you wholeheartedly. He said that when you add the actual folks who have fallen through the cracks here, thanks to government machinations, the real unemployment rate is over 20%, and it could top the Great Depression.
The facts speak for themselves, and when you look at retail sales, when you look at real wages, when you look at all of these young people with graduate degrees and bachelor's degrees and doctorates and lawyers that can't find jobs, all the people that have been downsized, this facts speak for themselves. There's no recovery. It's a cover-up.
All right, my special guest today, the forward-thinking Gerald Celente from the Trends Institute. Gerald, I know that folks are going to want to find out more about your work and your very interesting website. Could you please direct them and any other contact information?
Yes, our website is Trends, that's plural, trendsresearch.com, trendsresearch.com. And Chris, we encourage them to look at our past Trends journals, particularly 2008, where, as we say, by their deeds you shall know them. And our motto at the Trends Research Institute is think for yourself. And that we're urging people to think for themselves, not to buy into what the Main Street media is selling them, and to prepare for the worst.